We got another one.
Real quickly, I just had like a couple thoughts in my head, and I figured, it might actually be helpful to share with some people and include it in this new series. So, fitness, right? Why do I feel, and I feel like most people would agree with me on this, that achieving your fitness goals is a lot easier. Not it's easy, just easier than achieving like a business goal, right? Staying persistent and consistent and overcoming obstacles in a business goal just seems so much more challenging than a fitness goal. And I wanted to kind of go through why that is, because now if we can dissect and see what's different, maybe we can find a solution to them if you're in the same shoes as me. So with fitness, right, I understand how it works better. Right? There's not too many obstacles. If something's going wrong, it's just narrowed down to a couple factors. It's going to be down to your style of training or down to your nutrition and how much rest you're getting. It's just these three things. That's it. So if you're not making progress, it's just one of those three. And persistency or consistency, of course, is a huge factor. But if you're doing all those consistently and give enough time, you're going to make progress. You're going to see results. So I was just thinking, like even in fitness, right? Let's say you don't hit your goal in the time period that you wanted. It's not as scary, right? You don't feel as much pressure and stress because if you don't hit your fitness goals, nothing happens. It's not like you can't pay the bills. Whereas if you don't hit your business goals or your financial goals, you start to get stressed out. You start to get worried. You start to try to hurry it. You start to try to rush it. And it's harder to stay consistent because you're always just worried like, crap, I need this money to pay that bills. So see with fitness, let's say you start a routine. The key, I think, to success in both of these areas is consistency. So in fitness, when you start a new routine, if you don't see progress right away, it's a lot easier to still stay consistent because there's nothing pressuring you to achieve those goals to pay your bills, right? Whereas with finances or creating a business, you do feel a little bit more of that pressure to hurry up and make some income so you can pay your bills or just so you don't get scared and think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make any money. And as a result, I feel like that causes you to second guess your plan and to change it too frequently, right? So maybe you try out, okay, I'm going to try this business model or this new idea for a month, and then after 3 weeks, you don't see any progress, start to get scared, and you just jump the gun and switch to something else, when really you need to try these things out for like 6 months a pop, or at least 3 months a pop. Like for working out, I know you're supposed to give any routine that you do at least, about 3 months before you change it. But after 3 months, you do kind of want to change it. And I just feel like that's what makes running and operating like your own business a lot more difficult as opposed to achieving your fitness goals. Another thing is I just feel like business has so many more variables, right? With fitness, it's like if you want to, like for example, if I want to achieve the planche or whatever it is, like just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And I know all I have to do is just keep on following the same routine, stay consistent with it. And eventually I will get strong enough and my body will adapt and I will be able to do it, right? I know all I have to do is do the same thing over and over again and I will achieve it. With like business, I just don't know if that's true. I don't know if I keep on trying to operate the same business plan and it's not working and I'm not seeing progress. Do I need to just keep on doing it for longer and stay consistent and eventually it will work? Or is this business plan just shit and do I need to throw it out and change it? So that's another thing that I'm just not confident on or certain with when it comes to business aspects. And that's why I think it's a lot more challenging to have business success than it is to have fitness success.
Some might say we're armed and dangerous.
So as I mentioned in the first video of this new series, one of my goals is to improve my communication skills and just be a good public speaker, etc. Improve my acting skills, just everything with communication. And one way that I'm doing that is through Toastmasters, which is a club. Every single area has them. You go in once a week and you practice your communication skills in a couple different ways. One being where you actually go up and give public speeches. They're usually about 5 minutes on average, some are longer, some are shorter, depending on which one you're doing. And you prepare about like a week in advance for it. Practice on your own, go in, do the speech, people listen. Usually you're going up against maybe like 2 other speakers on average on like a normal day. They always announce who they think the best one is, so it is a little friendly competition. Then you get feedback from people who are evaluators on what you could have done better and what you did well. You also practice being an evaluator, which helps you with your listening skills and that's it with your listening skills. And then you also serve as other functions such as Toastmaster of the Day, which is pretty much practicing as being like the host of the party, keeping everything lively and engaged, making sure that if anything goes wrong that you're there to fix it, and etc. So it really helps all around. It helps make you a well-rounded public speaker, public figure, communicator. And last week we had our competition. This was my first ever competition. I've only been a part of Toastmasters for a little over 6 months. Now in order to participate in the speech part, where like you want pretty much the competition, how it works is you start at your club level, right? So you compete with other members in your club, then you go up to the next level, which is area. If you win in your club level, then if you win that, you go to district, and then if you win that, you go to international, and you pretty much compete against everyone in the world and see if you're the best. So there's 2 categories that you can do. You can do 1, which is give a speech, or you can do 2, which is table topics. Now I forgot to mention this. Table topics is random. It's only a minute, so it's not as long, but you don't prepare for it in advance. Pretty much you come up, you just volunteer, and once you come up to the podium, they're gonna give you a random topic. And now you have to talk on this topic for a minute. Whether you wanna give a true story, whether you wanna make up a story, it doesn't matter. You just have to give a 1-minute talk on that topic. So in order to participate in the traditional speech part of the competition, you have to have done at least 6 speeches. I was only at 5, so unfortunately I could not participate in this competition for that part. But anyone can participate in table topics, so I did that. There's 6 of us competing, and out of those 6, I came in 2nd place. And the top 2 places move on to the area, so I'm happy to say that I will be moving on to the area competition. And in order to practice for that, I'm gonna be doing a lot of table topic practices. So I think what I wanna do is practice like 1 table topic every morning, right? Just find a random topic and boom, right on the spot, just try to talk on it for a minute, practice those skills, find tips on YouTube and practice those, and then pick 1 day a week where maybe I spend like 20 minutes or so just practicing a bunch of different table topics and applying those techniques that I learned from those videos. Working on my body language, hand gestures, etc. Vocal variety, stepping outside of my comfort zone. So that's what I'm gonna do, because I believe the competition is March 1st, or the next one. But yeah, we're gonna go along that journey and see how far I get.
These memories are heavy, they rest on my shoulders.
Another thing, school. Today, I had an Excel exam, and I studied yesterday, studied again this morning. I'm taking the Excel exam, it's in class, and in the last 5 minutes, right, my computer freezes. And I didn't save it, and all I could do is exit out of it. And then the teacher tells me, all right, well the deadline's at 1:15, right, and it's 1:05 right now, and we're all supposed to turn it in. 1:15 it closes. If you can get it all done again by 1:15, go ahead. And I got it all done by 1:17. So I had to submit it in for half credit. Like, that really pissed me off. But that's one thing I'm trying to deal with. Another thing that's going on is my internship, like I mentioned. It's really starting to get kind of annoying because it's not really what I wanted out of it, but I'm trying to see where it can go, right? Get on this guy's goodwill list and then be like, hey man, do you have something else for me? Something more psychology based instead of just analytical, looking up boring data. If not, then I'm gonna bounce because it's a waste of my time. But now I have to pretty much go and find out every single offer that's been made to a Florida kid, a Florida high school football player, to play in college level, get their weight, get their height, like separate them in geographic locations, etc. So that's annoying. And then this Saturday, today is Wednesday, so this Saturday I will be participating in the Spartan race in Miami. Not good with endurance, but we'll see how that goes. Alright, finally, I've been meaning to record this video. So earlier, reason I'm all dressed up, today was real estate day. I had to go show a couple houses. Total nightmare, right? Like, my anxiety was shooting through the roof and I was getting really stressed out because I encountered so many problems throughout the day. So first, I'm trying to track where I'm going to, right? Like, use the maps on the iPhone, and it's not working. Like, after about 5 minutes of going, it just checks me out and like turns that app off. And now I have no idea where I'm going. So I took so many wrong turns and took me like forever to get there. Anyways, I finally get to the first property. And while I'm there, I pull up and I see a sold sign on the house. I'm like, well, what the hell? I literally just took a picture of this property online and it said active for sale an hour ago. And now it's sold. Call them up. Sure enough, it's sold. Damn it. I tell my client that and she's like really upset. She really wanted to see that house. So next we go and look at the second house. At least no problems here. This one was for sale. Got in the house, showed her the property, but it was just a little too outdated for her, not what she wanted. So gotta find her some other kind of properties, and it is a little stressful because her deadline is April 31st, right? She needs to be out of her current place by April 31st, which means we really want to kind of get a place under contract by April 1st so it has 30 days to close, do all that stuff, and so she can move in. So we have really about a month. And in this market, inventory is super low, especially for her price range, which is like 180K. So these things are flying off the market like that. Another scenario, so there was another house that we looked at before. I'm still waiting to hear an answer back from them. It's affordable, it's in her price range, it's in a really nice area, Winter Park. It's updated how she likes it, but you're only buying the house, you're not buying the land. And it's done through affordable housing. And they do this on purpose, so you can afford a house like that. But she just wants to cover all of her bases and make sure, what would happen if they sold the land and all that. And I figured out all those questions, but I'm still waiting to hear back from one, which is what happens if the owners of the land trust go bankrupt, right? Does she have to sell her house? Did she lose her house? What would happen if the bank took it back? So still waiting to hear back on that. But anyways, I talked to my broker. And the strategy that we're now going to apply for her, right, because now I realize like how much pressure she's under, is we're going to, one, try to maybe broaden out her horizon a bit, but more so than that, this is what's really going to help us to close the deal. Because the market's going so fast, right, and there's limitations. Sometimes, there's some evenings where she just can't go out to see the property. There's some evenings where I have class and I just can't take her out to see the property. And in this market, that's not an option, right? You need to, if a nice property comes on the market and it's priced right, it will be gone that same day. So what we need to do now is when the property comes on the market, go see it that day. If that's not an option and it looks really nice and it's priced right and it's updated, place an offer right away on the property. And I know what you're thinking, like you haven't even seen the property yet, but it's okay, because what happens is you always get a safe out through the inspection clause. If you write up your contract right, once you go through the inspection period, if you realize like, hey, I really don't like this house, you can just use the inspection as an excuse. And then you're out like $300 or $400. But in the long run, it's not really that big of a deal when we're talking about buying a $180,000 house. But that's going to save her from losing the house. So it's definitely worth it. And we're going to do that strategy. We'll show you guys. Hopefully that doesn't happen and we're not out any $300 or $400 like that. But on my way there, I was cursing everything out. I was like, fucking hate real estate. Like, you gotta be shitting me. This house is sold already. My phone's not fucking working. I don't know where the hell I'm going. But it just helped. I was like, I do not want to do anything with real estate ever. I'm fucking done with this shit. But it helped with my client. Like, she's just really nice and really understanding. And it's just easy to connect with her because she's like my age, like pretty close to my age. I would assume somewhere in her 20s. I don't really know for sure. So it's just easy to relate with her. She's very kind, respectable, and it's easy for me to be myself. So I enjoy that part, and I feel like real estate wouldn't be all that bad as long as you're working with people who respect you and people you feel comfortable around and that you can relate to. So pick your clients wisely would be my advice.
All right, so I got a little bit of a problem. I just came back from showing a house. And number one, when I got there, right, so the way it works is you get to, now it's like everything's electronic. So I get to the house and there's an electronic lockbox. So you unlock it with an app on your phone. You just use Bluetooth, syncs up, and it unlocks and you get the key out. I get there a little bit early and my key is just not working, right? It's just not unlocking. It's for some reason. Luckily, another agent comes by and she tries it out and her key works perfectly fine. It unlocks it for her. So I'm calling up the e-key, like the super e-key is what it's called, trying to find out what's wrong with my phone. And then I do some tests and realize that like my Bluetooth just isn't working, period. Like it's not even hooking up with my car Bluetooth. So thank God this lady came by and was showing the house at like the exact same time as me and let me use the key afterwards and show the house as well. Because if that didn't happen, I would have looked like an idiot and it would have been a big waste of time driving out 30 minutes to not even be able to show a house. So I was saved, thank God. But on top of that, here's where another problem kicks in, right? So there's another house that she wants to see that she really likes. The problem is it's owner occupied and 5:45 is the latest time you can go see this place. Well, she can only see in the evenings every day because she works. So like 5:30 is probably about the earliest time she can go. I tried to find a time for today, but they're all booked up. Tomorrow, I can't really make it because I have class from 6 to 10 and they check for attendance. So I can't show her tomorrow, but then she can't see the property. The only 2 days of the week that she can't go are Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So that means the next available day that she'd be able to see the property is Thursday. And in this market, that's too long. So let me explain. At least, I would probably say all over the US right now, but especially in Florida, the real estate market is hot. And for this price range, so she's in 200K and under price range, properties go like that, especially if they're nice looking and priced right. So we need to get in there and see the property as soon as possible. And waiting till Thursday, which is what it looks like it might have to be, it might be gone by then. So I have two options now that I have to try to find a solution to this problem. Number one, reach out to someone else in my office and see if they will take her tomorrow to see the showing at 5:30, and I'll like pay them for gas or whatever it is. But the problem with that is I've already tried that twice, right? This is gonna be my third time asking. So I feel bad asking 3 times, especially when the prior 2 were both no. Anyways, I'm gonna try and ask that first. And then if that's a no, I'm gonna talk to my broker and I'm gonna ask him, all right, how can we place a contract on the property with a clause in it that allows us to do the inspection clause and see the property so that if she doesn't like it, she can back out and she doesn't have to spend any money or put a down payment, right? But the property is still tied up and she gets a chance to see it even though we don't have time this week to see it. So that will be the second option I'll look at if I can't find someone to show her the property tomorrow.
Let's have an adventure. Head in the clouds, but my gravity center.
As you guys know, I have a Table Topics Toastmaster competition coming up. Just mentioned it. But anyways, I want to share with you guys the process that I'm going to go through in order to train for it and practice for it. And just kind of how I came up with it. So what I'm doing is every single day, right, 7 days a week, 6 out of those 7, I'm going to practice one table topic a day. So whether I come up with it on my own or whether I look it up online, I'm going to give myself a topic and then go for it for 1 to 2 minutes just on the spot and practice like that. Then there's going to be one day out of the week where I spend 20 minutes doing this. It's going to be probably about 5 to tops 10 minutes of those 20 minutes will be spent finding a video online or looking at tips, right? Like how to open for table topics, how to close, different tips and stuff to apply to it. And then at least 10 minutes of practice to about 15 minutes of actually practicing. And the reason why I'm putting so much more emphasis on practicing and doing it and just doing it and just doing it as opposed to trying to find extra tips or little secrets or watching videos or studying other people doing it is because I've looked at other areas of my life where I have been successful and asked myself why. You always hear like take action as opposed to studying it. And yeah, you're like, yeah, that sounds nice, but we still don't really listen. But if you analyze your own life and realize, okay, what am I good at? Why am I so good at it? It puts it in perspective and helps you to realize like, no, this is absolutely true. I'm so good at this because I spend more time doing it than I do studying it. For example, I'm very good at fitness and I spend a lot more time working out and actually doing the things than I do studying. Of course I still study, of course I still watch videos and look at new tips and nutrition, but I spend a lot more time applying the things that I learned about nutrition and how to eat, a lot more time doing the exercises than I do studying and perfecting them and watching the videos over and over again or reading about them. And that's why I'm so good at it. Another example would be my speeches and communication. I spend a lot more time practicing my speeches and communicating than I do watching videos, lectures, or reading about how to communicate. So I think action is so much more important. So if you can only do 20%, that's going to give you 80% of the results. That would be by taking action and doing the thing over and over again. Even though you may feel like a complete failure your first couple times doing it and feel like, oh, I got to go back and study because I didn't know what I was doing. No, you're on the right path. You're gonna fail the first couple times really hard, really bad. Keep going and make that the 20% that gets the 80% of the results. The other 80% of the work that gets only 20% of the results, that's studying, that's watching film. So hope that helps.